Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Adrian of Addy Journals, and I welcome you back. If you are new here, welcome for the first time. And so I wanted to talk about this momentarily because I have been seeing a ton of videos on YouTube and sometimes even on Instagram and some of the other social media networks about anti-hauls. And anti-hauls for stationery, anti-hauls this, I will kind of never be hauling. And I think that having 25 years of experience in writing in journals, I found a method of how I approach purchases where I don't really deny myself that. And I wanted to talk about this to kind of give a different perspective of this whole anti-haul approach of things. So a lot of the conversation around this has been using the language of anti-haul. I'm anti-hauling this for 2025. I'm anti-hauling stationery, this type of stationery for 2025. So here's just my reminder to you guys. This is a hobby. Please be kind and gentle with yourselves, all right? Don't use strong negative language around something that you like because it will taint your approach to that. It may make you think of it as negative hobbies and things like that. And the reason that I say this is that for me, the language anti-haul, anti-anything is a very negative connotation. It's almost like, and maybe I don't understand that, or maybe this is not something that I'm familiar with, but when you say I'm anti this, it almost comes off to me as if you have this topic you will not talk about, or you will not discuss, or you will not be willing to open. And sometimes that's okay, that's good to have, but other times, especially in things like stationery where we're talking about finances and our feelings around finances are deeply intertwined to why we buy certain things, this may be a negative approach. Where you say, I'm anti-hauling this, I am not going to buy another notebook, and then when you do go and buy another notebook, you kind of feel guilty about yourself for the purchase, or you feel guilty about that purchase, you feel guilty for doing this. So, as a reminder before we dive into any of this, be gentle with yourself and be kind with yourself, and remember at the end of the day, it is a hobby. So if something is not working for you, you are by no means required to stay with the same thing, same methods, or even to stick with the hobby. If you found that journaling came in for a reason and now it's not working for you, thank it, be grateful for the things that it brought into your life, and then move on, right? So having said that, let's get started. So as I mentioned before, I've had about 25 years of journaling, and I've tried and experimented with a lot of things. So just keeping that in mind and just starting out with journaling, some of this is not something that's going to be relevant to you right away. First, so I made this little list here just to kind of show you my thought process and how you can sort of approach your own finances and purchasing of stationery products. I know that I like certain type of notebooks. I tend to use fountain pens, and so knowing myself in that way and also knowing the kind of personality, the kind of person that I am, where if I finish a notebook or finish an item, I don't necessarily want to wait until I get to a place to go out and buy more of these items. This is why I have a stock. I don't think necessarily having a stock of things that you like as part of the stationery products or stationery goods that you buy is necessarily a bad thing. it can help relieve that pressure to go out and shop for store, or even relieve the pressure of going and buying goods that you may not need because you're looking for a particular notebook and then end up spending more money. So when I tend to buy notebooks or things like that, I tend to buy it with the intention of having a stock that I can then leverage and use every time I go shopping or out and find stationery products, because I think through the stock that I have and realize, well, no, I actually don't need XYZ item because I already have it, and I'm content with that. And this is where, if you are starting, you may not have that stock, you may not have the stickers, you may not have the notebook, and that's okay. This is a great time for you to experiment with different types of notebooks, different types of pages, and try something to see what sticks and works for you. Don't feel guilt at all if you've purchased something and you found that it doesn't work. In those situations, de-stash it. If you can, de-stash it. There's the whole big community around that, around selling products that you have purchased and realizing that they don't work. But if you do find that the item that you purchased works for you, buy yourself a stock. 3, 4, 5 items of the same kind, so that you don't have to go shopping and searching for it down the line. And that in turn also lowers but helps you with your finances, all right? So when you buy a certain amount of stock, especially if you know that you like it, yes, you have a higher upfront cost, but then also having that stock at home means that you will not be going into the stationery stores and being tempted by other notebooks, other things, and other products that you may actually not need. And so it makes it easier and makes it much more financially sustainable for you to have some stock at home, be aware of that whenever you go out. And this also comes into the question of, whenever I go out shopping, am I cluttering up my space with whatever I plan to buy? We only have a limited amount of space. We're not living in, multi-room apartments or things like that. So it may not make sense for you to buy more notebooks knowing that you already have some already in your stock, in your shelves, and that they are unfinished. And it makes it easier, at least for me, to consider that. And whenever I pick up a notebook or item, whatever, I'm just using the notebook as an example because I have notebooks in front of me here, but whenever I pick up that notebook to think, do I have a notebook like this already? Is it really just what is my style? Would I really use this? Is the paper better than what I have? And if I already bought and have a stock of notebooks, it makes it so much easier to walk away knowing that I have an abundance of these notebooks at home, right? So the one thing that I don't do is limit myself to only not buying anything. I will talk about this a little bit later, but I do have a monthly budget to give myself some freedom and some joy around purchasing items that I don't necessarily need, they're not part of my stock, but that I want as sort of a incentive for everything in life. And I'll talk about that as well. All right? So some things that I will be talking about, number one, is how am I looking at my current stock and determining what I need and whether or not I purchase more of them. And then 2, what is stuff that I have realized that don't work for me, that I will not be purchasing going forward, at least for the next foreseeable future, the next few months. Again, I'm not a fan of saying I will never do something or never use something, because you never know. Things can change, preferences can change, your style can change, and so it's never so clear-cut as if, I'm not going to do this one thing and it'll stay that way for the rest of my life. 25 years of journaling, I can tell you, it has never stayed consistent. So trying everything is a great plus. Alright, so let's get started. Alright, so first that item that I already have stock for and that I will not be purchasing until that stock runs really low, and that is notebooks. I have primarily been, and I'm going to move my Hobonichi out of the way, but I have primarily been in bound notebooks most of my life, and you know, things like composition books and things like that. In recent years, I have gotten into fountain pens. I find them really beautiful, and also the ink is really easy to just switch up whenever you want to. So I have made it a whole thing about purchasing notebooks that are fountain pen friendly. Now I have a lot of stock left over of Moleskine notebooks, specifically from the time when I was using regular pens and not fountain pens, and I've never finished using them, and I'm totally okay with that because I'm sure there will be a time when I start to use them again. However, I have also purchased more lecture notebooks because I really like them, and sometimes the colors of the covers are really hard to come by. So I have no issue buying and stocking up on these notebooks, not necessarily because I know they will run out, but because I like a certain color, a certain style, and they can be sometimes hard to come by. That said, I will not be purchasing any more notebooks for the foreseeable future until I finish these two lectures and finish up this Stationery because I still have a little bit left. So I want to finish that. Still, even with this, this might take a while for me to finish because one of my plans for 2025 was to get into a platter or a ring system. And the reason for that is I've never really used a ring system as a daily journal, and I have found myself reaching for my journal even at work and wanting to write things in. And it's not necessarily easy or safe to bring my journals with my personal thought to the office. So when I purchased this platter back in Japan last year, I didn't really know what to do with it until recently, and I am going to be using it as my morning journal once the strategy is done, to have my thoughts and things and ideas in them in here. And every week I will archive them, so when I go back to the office, the pages are clean and there's nothing in there that's private or personal. So for this, I have purchased and will continue to experiment with paper, different types of papers and things like that. So I'm not saying not going to stop purchasing, but I am switching from bound books to a ring system for now, and who knows, I might go back and I might finish this, and I am totally okay with that. So my goal here is to be sustainable and to finish the items that I have in my arsenal before I go ahead and buy more notebooks. Okay? And that's just how I approach this. Alright, so the other thing that at the moment I will not be buying until further notice, and at least until I run out with these items, is ink, fountain pen ink. I have purchased a lot of fountain pen ink over the last 2 years, and some of it is because I really do like it. Some of it, like with this Lamy, they are no longer making this color, so I wanted to buy and stock up on that color because once it's out for good, and I tend to like this color. Other ones, I did purchase a lot more of like either Shizuku inks and some of these Shikiori inks. And the thing is, there's plenty of these inks that I have, some that I haven't even opened, but I just purchased because I really like the color. And so for now, I'm trying to use much of these inks in my journals and in my pens, so that then I can try out some of the other inks that I have saved. And the thing is, I may end up stocking up on more inks when and if I travel to Asia later this year, if that's even in the plans. Because the ink, like the Shikioi, the Sailor ink, and some of the Pilot ink, they tend to be a lot cheaper in Asia than they are here. And so just to make sure that I have a stock of ink that I want, I will buy them. But in the meantime, if it's something that I still have, I have certain stock of the Takesumi ink. I have, I think, another bottle of the Shoten ink. I am not going to purchase it. There's no need. I have plenty of inks to get through, including a few Ferris wheel inks. And the thing is, I purchased those Ferris wheel press inks a while back, I think 2 years now, and I still haven't finished them. And it's because they are shimmery, and obviously I'm not going to use them for every single thing. But also it's, I found that they are a bit of a problem child inks, in the sense that one of the inks that I have, even though it's a small bottle, it seems to have like gotten a bit gelatiny. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's just like gunky, and every time I try to get some of that ink into my pens, it doesn't really go in, because it's more like a paste, almost like a liquidy paste, and it's really weird. It's not really pleasant to deal with. So I'm just trying to get through these inks, and my purchases will only be of inks if I'm in Asia, or if I run out of it for the next coming year. All right. Yeah. The next thing that I am not going to be buying much of is, because I already have plenty of them, it's highlighters and midliners, just highlighters and markers. I am using them consistently almost all the time in my journaling, and I really do enjoy them. This specifically, the midliners, I've had them for 3 years, and pretty much across these 2 packs, any sort of colors that I want to use, I already can match them with what I have for terms of stickers. All right, so if I do plan to purchase them or more, it's usually just going to be like a one-off color because I ran out of it. But besides that, I don't think I really have any need for any markers. I do have some acrylic markers that I have not used yet, and probably I'm not planning to use them in these journals or these notebooks, because they can be a pretty wet ink. But I did really enjoy working with these. The same thing also goes for some Stabilo pens. I don't know if you guys know them, but they're like these pens with a colored cap, and they're very thin. I have quite a few of them over the years of having lived in Europe and going back home every so often. So I will not be buying more of these, because I do just have those pens as well, and I'm working my way through them. So that's another thing that I will not be buying until my stock runs out. The fourth thing that I will not be buying, at least for the time being, is actually the inserts for a traveler's notebook. I have purchased a lot of them from Japan during my trip, and also throughout my trips or visits to some of the stationery stores in New York, as well as online. And I have enough of a stock of them to keep me going for a little while. And the reason that I stacked up on them is, number one, they are very thin notebooks, and so if you do write a lot like I do, you tend to go through them very quickly. And so having that stock means that I don't have to wait, I don't have to go out and purchase more. That said, I have a whole box full of this, and so I have no real need right now to buy more of these. The only thing that might happen is when I travel, I tend to travel with my traveler's notebook, and depending on where we go, I will either check ahead if they have stores that carry them, or I will just carry an extra traveler's notebook insert, because I tend to cover or get through at least 2 or 1.5 to 2 inserts per trip. And depending on the situation where we go, I may take an extra with us or just buy one with us when we're there. All right, so this is what will be kind of happening once I run out. Now, next up is the thing that I really don't feel the need to buy because they either don't work for me or I'm happy with them. And the first of these is actually the traveler's notebook covers. I have 4. I have the olive, I have the camel, and I also have the Tokyo limited edition one that are opened. But when we were in Kyoto, we ended up purchasing a Kyoto special edition one, which I still haven't opened. Truthfully, I love these notebooks and I love the style, the feel, and the look, and the system itself. But I don't really need to have more than that, and I'm very happy with it. The only time I might actually consider getting a new notebook is if, let's say, this one gets destroyed. I'm not a big fan of patina anyway, so I do tend to want to be very careful with my notebooks to make sure that they don't get destroyed. But if they do, then at that point I will buy another one. I don't think that it will be anytime soon, considering that these notebooks are very durable and very nice. So this is not in the books for this year. If I do buy one because it's a limited special edition, great, but I'm not really aching to get any new ones at this point. And this also ties into notebook covers. So I have my Hobonichi notebook cover here, this one, and then on my Stationery I have this one. And this is only 2 of them. I rarely like to, again, have notebook covers, and that's mostly because the notebooks that I tend to prefer are hard-covered notebooks, like the lectern. But I have been liking some of the Japanese ones, and so that's why I got the covers, because the Hobonichi and like the Stationery, they have very soft covers on the notebooks and they can easily bend or get destroyed and things like that. And since I'm very particular about how my covers end up looking after going through all of the terrors that they go through in my life, I decided to get covers. This one in particular is an older cover. I bought it in Hiroshima in 2020, so it's about 5 years old now, and only started using it last year. And then this Hobonichi is from this one, from this year's haul. Now, I don't tend to buy covers. Again, it's more for protection. I really cannot be bothered how they look. If they are pretty, I mean, they bring me joy. That's great. But at the end of the day, they have to be more functional than pretty. And I don't see myself buying any more covers. I do have a third one, and that is just in case one of these 2 get broken, at which point I will pull that cover out and use it. But that's it. I don't have that many covers, and I have no intentions of buying them because these just work fine. All right, they have to get destroyed before they even make it on my radar to be purchased. Something else that I am not a fan of is actually washi tape. So I bought this washi tape just for you guys to know. This is a washi tape collection that I purchased a long time ago. I want to say almost 20 years ago, maybe 10 years ago. I don't even know. I had gotten into this phase of I am going to do scrapbooking, and I bought a bunch of washi tape and stickers that just did not really work. And so washi tape has been one of those things that I have a very hard time figuring out how to use, how to make it look like it looks pretty. It doesn't always look great in my spreads. I don't know what it is that I do. I'm never satisfied with the way that washi tape looks. So a couple years ago, I just decided, F it, I'm going to actually use this for just sticking things into my notebooks. And that's kind of what I've been doing it. but I have a bunch of washi tape. This is just 10-year-old washi tape, but I have other washi tape that I purchased in Japan and in Staples and even at Stationery Fest. And I've been honestly trying to make it work, but it hasn't been working for me. And so my goal is to just finish it, get it through, and minimize my stash of washi tape going forward. Again, this might change. Maybe I will become a professional at making beautiful spreads with washi tape, but this ain't it. It ain't it right now. And so that's not coming along for me. All right? And these are the things that I would just not be purchasing for now. Now, as a bonus, there's two things, and I promised that I was going to talk about my finances a little bit on this, and what it is. So, I believe that stationery brings me joy. It's something that I enjoy doing all the time. It's something that I like working with, and I like experimenting with. So I had made a deal with myself last year that every month, as sort of a reward for just in general life, just to bring a little bit of joy, I'm allowed to spend $100 on stickers. And so every month, usually once or twice a month, I will purchase stickers from some of my favorite brands, like the Given Girl, that are themed for that month or that whatever. And so I buy these stickers as part of the $100 a monthly of spending that I allow myself. And I found that honestly, just by doing that, it has made it easier for me to not spend on other things as well. Like, I give myself the joy of being okay with buying things from Shrimpy Studios or the Giving Girl, and then I feel like whenever I go shopping, I am not itching at the bit to, well, is that even a saying? But I'm not biting at the bit to buy more stickers or buy this or buy that, because I found just by purchasing some of these what is my style and what isn't my style, and that's why I allow myself to do it. I also have a monthly or quarterly challenge quest. So this is one for New Year's, and if I achieve all of these, I will allow myself to purchase more than $100 that quarter, at the end of that quarter, from a different brand that I've never met or have never used, if I really liked their product. And so that also just kind of lowers just my need or want to buy more things that I don't think I can use or will not use. And the reason being is that stickers, I use them so much. I use them in my morning journal, I use them in my Hobonichi, every single day. And I love them. So it's very easy for them to just go. I keep them inside my little envelope inside the phonics bag, which contains everything else. And they all just sit there, and when I'm ready to decorate, I go ahead and pull them out and put them in my thing. So this is one thing that I'm totally okay with, and I think by doing that, just letting yourself being okay with a monthly purchase of, let's say, $50 or $100, whatever you can spare, and being like, okay, I will spend only $100 a month maximum for stickers online, and let it bring you joy. Reward yourselves, guys. This is a hobby. It's not a punishment. Don't make it a punishment. If you want stickers and you love stickers and you realistically think that these stickers are a fit for you and how you journal, don't punish yourself. This is supposed to be a hobby that you enjoy and one that you can hopefully do throughout the day, throughout the year. And if you, let's say, one year decide that actually you don't like stickers anymore, that's okay. You can de-stash it. I mean, I have 1,000,001 stickers in my stashes, and I can tell you right now, I'm using them for different things because I enjoy putting the stickers in my pages. So this kind of has taken away that kind of energy of like, oh my god, I can't buy something, so let me just get it all at the shop. It takes that edge off a little bit. If that makes me sound like an addict, well, I am an addict to stationery. And then, yeah, that's it. The other thing that I will buy sometimes is fountain pens, and I have no qualms about that because I do like to collect them. So if you guys want to know about fountain pen buying, let me know in the comments below. But this is what I think, and I hope this has been really helpful to you guys as a video, and kind of give you the confidence to think about your own stock and stationery, how you keep it and what you need and how you like using it, and then modifying your finances and your purchases to fit what works for you. If you're still in the experiment stage, experiment to your heart's content. But if you know what works for you, be a little bit more selective, and trust me, it will help your finances. You don't have to say, this is not going to be a fit and I am not doing this. Be flexible, enjoy, and be kind to yourself as you go through this journey. I hope you liked this video, and let me know in the comments below if you have any more questions about the no buy and mindful buying processes. Happy to answer any of them. Have a wonderful one, take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye!